bitches. Welcome to the Conservative Circus with James T. Harris.
A group of current Arizona sheriffs and candidates for sheriff across Arizona this week released a statement rejecting claims made by Kari that her Republican primary opponent, Pinal County Sheriff Lamb, is a coward. Lake first made the claim in an online political forum hosted by the Arizona chapter of the Association of Mature American Citizens for the two Republican primary contenders for U.S. Senate. We welcome to the center ring Sheriff Mark Lamb. And Sheriff, your fellow sheriffs are just not letting Kari Lake's comments go unanswered. They seem spitting mad to me, in fact. Who are some of these sheriffs, and what exactly are they saying?
Well, look, the sheriffs are just like me. We've been called a lot of things. Coward is not something we usually get called, and I think the sheriff saw it the way I did. It's an affront to anybody that puts on the gun and the badge every day and goes out and protects their communities. No matter what you think, what they are not is they are not cowards, and the sheriff saw that. And certainly those sheriffs know me and the work that I've done over the last 8 years as sheriff and over my career as a gang drug detective and doing a lot of scary things. They just took exception to the fact that you would call somebody like myself a coward or anybody else that puts on the badge. So that letter, it was just basically them standing together as law enforcement saying, no, you got the wrong thing. They were out of line, and we expect better from Senate candidates.
Well, and not to get too deeply into this, but when you were called the coward, what was it in reference to?
Well, it's in reference to she was using it in reference to election integrity, which is not, first of all, it was untruthful because I've been a stalwart. Not only have I searched for any fraud, I have worked hard to try to maintain our elections here in Pinal County as much as I can. That's my bailiwick. I can only talk about Pinal County. But, it was referring to the fact that I didn't have any large-scale material fraud from my county, nor did the other sheriffs have it in their counties. And to say that we're cowards because we didn't do what somebody wanted, look, not every one of us would have loved to have busted somebody if there was large-scale material fraud for these evidence that we could point it to and charge somebody. All of us would. And to say that we're cowards because it didn't go your way, frankly, that's what upset people. But ultimately, whether you like that or not, to call a cop or somebody that goes out and puts their life on the line every day a coward is just out of line.
We have Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb in the center ring. You have been pretty outspoken about the use of lawfare by the Democrats. How insulting is it to a lawman to see the law used in this way, especially in how it's being used against President Trump?
So insulting, not just as a lawman, but as an American. Look, we pledge allegiance to a flag, and at the end we say injustice for all. Where is the justice for all? What they're going after Trump for. These are paperwork issues in New York that they made it work to be a felony. They went after him for the documents in Florida. Well, at the same time, Joe Biden's got documents in his garage, and he wasn't even the president. That was from when he was either the senator or when he was a vice president. So having those documents in his garage, he should have been charged equally. I think what Americans are frustrated with, what I'm frustrated with, is you need to apply the law equally. In one breath, they're happy that he was convicted on these trumped up charges, no pun intended. But then at the other token, they're more than willing to let all these people come across the border illegally and not hold them accountable. So you must have justice for all. You must apply the law equally. It doesn't matter who you are. When we respond to calls as law enforcement, we don't show up and say, well, what party are you? Or what skin color are you? What religion are you? Or what political ideology? None of that matters. What matters is dealing and executing the law in a just and fair manner. And that's what we expect from our federal government. It's part of the reason I'm running for Senate, because it's got to be fixed on a national level. You need law enforcement guys that understand what it's going to take to fix that, because it's out of line, out of control.
You know what? Seeing you brought up the border, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. You have all of these people coming across the border. President Trump said yesterday, some of they're speaking languages we're not familiar with. We don't know this. They're coming in from all over the world. I got to get your take on Joe Biden's new executive order on the border. Will it do anything other than codify mass asylum, or are you expecting it to increase the number of gotaways?
Well, first of all, this is political in nature to its core. He only did this because he's so underwater in the polls as it relates to the border and many other things. They've been a complete failure all across the board, but the border is probably one of his biggest failures. I do not expect him to do anything. The cartels don't fear Joe Biden in this administration. You know who they fear? Donald Trump. They fear election results in November that don't go their way. So what I expect to see is more people showing up. Not to mention there was conflicting information saying they're expanding what the credible fear is. So they're saying to Border Patrol, hey, look, if they're silent or if they're trembling or shaking, then you can use that as a credible fear to give them an asylum claim. So they're increasing asylum claims in that way. And here's what most Americans think. Why, if you can stop it at 2,500, you can stop it at 0. And the acceptable number for people crossing this border illegally or making false asylum claims is 0. That's what it should be. I don't like them codifying anything where they would allow 2,500 people to come into this country illegally. If you can stop it at 2,500, you can stop it at 0, and that is what you owe to the American people. So I don't think it's going to change anything. I think it's all politics. And the only way we stop this, folks, is we've got to unelect them and put people in that will protect our border. Because just yesterday, this week, we had 80 pounds of fentanyl we caught in a car a couple days ago. We had 80 pounds. That's 360,000 pills, 9 pounds of cocaine in the same car. You can go on my social media, see the pictures of it. That's the kind of dangerous business we're in, dangerous dealings that this open border of this administration is causing for not just Arizona, but all America.